Well, we always say that, movies never stop, films never stop, but it's actually the creation that never stops. And Neeraj Pandey is back again with another creation of his, with great stories, and that's not it. He always brings the most amazing cast and the makers together. Well, today we have the cast of The Freelancer, the Hotstar Disney series that is coming out on September 1st. First of all of you, thank you for joining us today and congratulations. We are looking forward to it. But you know what? You've already played your part. Well, you were shooting for it, well, when you were making the series. Now let's, reverse your roles, maybe talk about each other's characters.
That's an interesting. She will talk about my character. Let's see.
So, Mr. Anupam Kher's character, Mr. Khan, he is the Dr. Khan. He is the guiding force of the entire series that actually ignites the fire in the freelancer, who's probably lost it. And then freelancer comes and saves Alia Khan.
इनके डायरेक्शन में मुझे काम करना बड़ा अच्छा लगा. I think it's the first time I'm working with him. I always work with my first time directors. I'm sure he's done work earlier also. I'm sure means I know that. My idea is to so that I'm well behaved on the sets. I give my best so that when he makes his next series or next film, he thinks of me. कि इनको ले लेते हैं, अच्छे एक्टर हैं, अच्छा बिहेव करते हैं. He has a great way of explaining to actors how to go about their job. Of course, Neeraj is always hovering around, so that's also a little frightening, tough. But he still can do things very well.
So Mohit plays the role of Avinash Kamath, the freelancer. Indian popular culture में और इंडियन लैंडस्केप में पहली बार आप एक इंडियन मर्सनरी को देखोगे. पिछले 8-10 साल में वर्ल्ड पॉलिटिक्स, वर्ल्ड कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स में मर्सनरीज हैव बिकम प्रोमिनेंट, बट इंडियन मर्सनरी की एक जर्नी जो रही है, दैट इज द कैरेक्टर मोहित प्लेज. At first, he is a simple assistant sub-inspector in Mumbai. He goes through a few hardships, a few wrong turns, and Dr. Khan comes into his life, who takes him to the edge of Europe, to the Middle East, to North Africa. And you see the journey of how someone like him, a simple sub-inspector, transforms into a mercenary. Someone who only works for himself, someone who is not attached to any government organization, only does it for money. And at that point of time, someone from his past, someone with whom he has an emotional connect, a friend with whom he had made a vow, he has to come to his aid. And that's how Alia comes into the picture. And how Mohit's character comes and helps her come out of a conflicting zone.
She'll be a better person to talk
Really?
about. Yeah,
Really,
because I
Mohit?
don't know Alia too much because there's a long gap. When I meet her last, she's 5 years, and then something happens to her. So I genuinely didn't get into the details of Alia because I think we are hardly shot. We only shot the climax.
We have a lot of phone cuts, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we don't have a lot of interaction because eventually last I have seen when she's a child. So I think she'll be able to describe it better.
Okay. But you have to do it in the next interview.
I will.
So Alia, to begin with, when I was prepping for Alia, the first things that come to your mind are she's a very simple, sweet girl who wants a very ordinary, normal life with her loved one. And something very unimaginable happens to her and she ends up in a dark place in a war-stricken area. And the worst part of it is that she is betrayed and taken there. And the betrayal really is a high point for her. And then what interests me about her is that she doesn't give up hope. She still has faith to leave the place and flee the place and come to her home, her family, which for Alia is very different because she's so simple, she's so naive, and survival sometimes kicks in extreme behavior and she has that hope, and then the freelancer comes and rescues her.
Your transition, you started with, you are a part of the regional South Indian movies, and you started with Mission Mangal as your debut in the Hindi film industry. If you let me say Bollywood, not the Hindi film industry, but that includes everything. So, coming from that to this, what made you choose freelancer?
What made me choose freelancer? It's Neeraj sir and Hotstar and the team that chooses you. You don't choose them. It's the other way around. And I find it I find myself extremely lucky that when I am coming with much more screen time than I had in Mission Mangal. Of course, that was my initial first few projects. When I was new to the industry, I don't come from a film background, and when I came, I just wanted to see how different languages work, how different industries work. And when all those 4 films in 4 different languages came out, I decided that when I will come back to Hindi and when I will be introduced by somebody, I would want it to be there's somebody like Mr. Neeraj Pandey, and I have this written in my book as a proof, and by God's grace, that has come true.
But then you started with fashion designing, right? You shifted
Fashion
to films post
communication.
that, and you
Yes.
still have a startup of your own.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I make, I don't know if
No,
I'm
you're
right,
right,
to
you're
call it a
right,
startup.
yeah.
So how do you manage all of that, and together, what are you inclined towards more?
Definitely acting, because some things I came to Bombay to become a designer, not in fashion per se, but a designer in design research and strategy. And then films caught up. I mean, they caught me off guard, and I was at a point where I had to take a leap of faith. I think best things in my life have happened that have required me to take a leap of faith. I feel blessed that it has worked out.
Well, good luck
Yeah.
to you on
Thank you
that,
so
and it's
much.
been a great journey, as it sounds like. But coming to you post this, let's talk more about The Freelancer. As much as I've read about it, and I read the story, how it came to you, how, you know, Mohit sir used to visit Neeraj sir to discuss all of it, and then later you came into the picture because you were already working on a particular project at that point of time, right? So in that, I also read about how you had to plan the whole set in Morocco,
Right.
correct? How much time did it take?
Well, to just go back, Neeraj sir had started shaping the project with Ritesh Shah, who wrote the script. They wrote for about a year, and at that time I was on a different project. We used to hear rumors in the office that something really big is happening. Used to keep seeing Mohit and Anupam sir visiting his office at that point. But when the script first came to me, I was very overwhelmed with the material. But the biggest challenge was how big it was. The challenge was how do we create ISIS, Syria in an authentic manner. It was an international collaboration. Our core team was from Mumbai. They took about 6-7 months to plan everything. There were technicians. Our action director was from France. Our weapons expert was from Italy. We had technicians from Morocco collaborating with the core team here. 6-7 months of prep. Then we went to Morocco. We transformed the village into the ISIS, which we shot for around 15-20 days. Because there was a lot of military equipment there, the Moroccan government was always on set. There was army officials from the government were always on set. And you've seen in the trailer the use of Predators and C-17 airplanes and everything. So in the end, you need a large crew, a big collaborative effort to helm something like this. And it was truly an international experience in the end.
Well, in regards to that, I would want to ask, The Freelancer is based on the book, right? Ticket to Syria.
Right.
So in regards to that, have you read the book now?
I haven't read the book. I'm the only one who hasn't read the book. I decided not to. Because a lot of people had come about and like they adapted it. So I looked at it from an objective lens. Because the challenge was to take the story to another level. There were a few dimensions which opened up. It spreads across 7 episodes. You go into the backstory of Avinash, you go into the story of Dr. Khan. A lot of it, the book was a starting point. So for me, from very early on, the plan between me and Neeraj sir was that I'll stay objective. Because a lot of times you go to the core story and they're like, ye hua tha kitab mein, isliye hum log kar rahe hain. But it has to work on its own as well.
But still, do you plan to maybe after the series is out, do you think that someday you will sit and read and
I'll see
maybe you
how
will
it
just
gets.
have that comparative study in your head? Okay, this is what we did and this is how it was in the book.
Maybe some other time later.
Okay, but also another thing when I was researching about it, that there were times when someday you were on the set or someday Neeraj sir was on the set. How did that work? And tell us about the dynamic, because you take him as your mentor as well.
Absolutely. So I shot a major portion of the Moroccan schedule.
Okay.
Neeraj sir shot around 10-15 days. He shot a major portion with Anupam sir in Bombay. What happens is, I was coming off another project, and especially in a web series, in a way you're shooting 3 or 4 films together. The amount of volume, I think everyone can talk about it, even as actors, the amount of work you have to do, and everyone has come from a film background, so you're striving for a higher product. So just to share the load overall, and because we were shifting to multiple cities in Morocco, India, shot a few days in Pune. Within Morocco, we shot in 3 different cities we were moving. So there are multiple units moving at the same time. So it's always better if you have 2-3 units in a film shoot.
All right, makes sense.
You know, I'll just add up by saying that he's making it sound very easy, but it was very difficult. Our entry and exit from Morocco was already planned, and you know, there were a lot of challenges. Language barrier was there. We couldn't really communicate a lot with frequently with a lot of people because majorly they speak Arabic and French, and he was the captain of the ship there. You know, so hats off to him how he has handled such a huge crew. It was not like 10, 15, 20, 100, 150 people. There were more than 200 people, and majority of them were French and, you know, Arabic speaking. And then we had international crew as well. We had actors from internationally, globally. We had a lot of actors. We had actors from Saudi Arabia, from UK, from US, you know, from everywhere. So I think it wasn't an easy job. He's making it sound very easy, but I know what he has pulled it out.
When it comes to the freelancer, I would want to get back to how you started your journey. You know, based out of North India, and you know, you really transformed yourself. Starting with modeling, then you started with films, television and films.
Right.
But you also wanted to get into army. You gave UPS NDA exams, right?
Right.
So does it feel like now it's like a small dream come true with freelancer, and also because you've also done UA?
No, I think it's not a small dream, it's a big dream, because I've always been fascinated with the army, you know, with the uniform. You know, as soon as I opened my eyes in Kashmir in few years, I could only see these people wearing uniforms. So for me, from very early stage, they were the heroes. I never saw Superman, Batman wearing a cap, you know, cape, a hero. For me, the uniform was the hero, you know. And when I grew up, I remember as soon as the Kargil war finished, I went with my friends to get the empty shells, and we visited the place as well on the bike. And then I decided to get into the army. Unfortunately, because of my vision, I was not able to go through. But yes, I'm, you know, fulfilling my real life dream in real life now. That's why I never miss an opportunity to wear the uniform or to do anything which is related to the uniform.
So, starting with you, you've given more than 500
No,
films.
you should say finishing with you. Starting with me, you can't say.
Sorry, yeah. Finishing with you.
I'm just joking.
540 to be precise.
Yes, 542 films till date,
40.
and more to come.
Yes.
Yes, and I don't know if you include the web series also in that.
Everything that I've done as on entertainment, yes.
Right, and you started in 1984
Yes.
with Sharansh.
Yes.
You know, when you started, you played a role of a person who was 65 then.
Yes. I was 27 at that time.
Exactly, and
At
you
27, I thought 65% age will look like that. And now I'm 68
yeah.
and I don't look like that man at all. Huh? Mentally, I'm younger than any one of these people over here. Because it's the mind which sort of decides how old you are. Not the age, not black and white era, not anything else. It's how you approach life. You approach life from a person's point of view. A child, I have a childlike curiosity about life. I come from a small town, Shimla and Kashmir. I have a sense of wonder. I'm fortunate to not have the mobile in my hand for a long period of my time. I do not search Google for information because Google gives you information, life gives you knowledge. So, because of all these things, I will always be youngest. Even at the age of 90, I will still be the youngest person because my mind, my heart will be very young. When I say young, it has nothing to do with muscles, it's nothing to do with bones, it's nothing to do with your straight back. It is something to do that you seeking knowledge. You're seeking information, you're seeking newness. So that quality, I think, if you can retain. I see young boys and girls today, I feel that their sense of wonder at the age of 14, 13 gets over. They're already, they're bored. And we have, and for that matter, I don't know, this generation still also, we've seen what it means to be not doing anything. But there's so much amazing quality to not doing anything. So that's why it's, I approach, whether it's this series, whether it is Kashmir Files, whether it is Khosla Ka Ghonsla, I approach these roles with a sense of innocence, with a sense of clean slate. Even though my mind is full of, whether from Lorca to Stanislavski to Bertolt Brecht to Arthur Miller to Munshi Premchand to Jai Shankar Prasad, all this is there. But how you segregate all that and start and use that information and use that knowledge and start afresh as Dr. Khan for this freelancer. So that the quality makes me different from other people.
You actually made it sound absolutely right. Like you say that it's the mind that matters. But when it comes to that, how do you pick your roles? What I was trying to, like, you've done so many, right?
I pick my roles. Sometimes I pick up roles for money because the money is very good. Sometimes I pick up because a friend of mine is making a series, and sometimes I feel that कर लेते हैं, मैं अच्छा करूँगा, कितना बुरा होगा. I don't take life so seriously. I do not decide. मेरे रहने से या मेरे करने से history of cinema will not change. मुझसे पहले भी बहुत great actors आए और मेरे बाद भी आएंगे hopefully. किशोर कुमार, लता मंगेशकर, दिलीप साहब, कितने हम, संजीव कुमार, इनको देखकर हम बड़े हुए हैं. कितना याद करते हैं हम उनको. So for me, it's a journey that should be enjoyable. Destination is, and when you reach your destination, you should look back and sort of say, wow, what a great journey I've had with so many ups and downs. So I pick up things because I want to be part of Neeraj Pandey's every project. I'm possessive about him. I don't like it when he does not take me in a film, in a series. Because his brilliance is very, very, very effective. I work with him. That's why in the beginning said that I work with him because I want to work in his next project also. Not because I'll ever have the dearth of work. I invent work. If I have nothing to do, chalo main kitab likhta. I'm not a writer. I never got more than 38% marks in my exams ever. But I've written 3 bestsellers because I am not scared of failure. It's your fear of failure that makes you mediocre. Was that too much of a lecture today?
No, that was
No, sir, it was really impressive.
I didn't sound like Astha channel.
Nahi, sir, not at all.
Like when you were talking about the poets or the writers like Munshi Premchand or Jai Shankar Prasad, you are coming up with a film or a work of art where you're playing the character of Rabindranath Tagore. If you have any inputs on that.
I'm under contract for not to speak about that.
Okay.
But since we are planting pictures and since you are asking about them, there's another picture of mine coming which is called The Signature. We will talk after that. But right now we are going to say on the 1st of September, our amazing series by Bhav and by Neeraj Pandey, The Freelancer. I wish this young girl great great luck, because I think whatever I've seen of you is very, very effective. What he, of course, is soon to be a veteran, and congratulations for your baby.
Thank you so much.
I'm very happy for you, and very happy. And
Anaya.
Anaya, her name is.
If you have a shout out with one word for The Freelancer.
Oh, you want us to shout? Say 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Freelancer.
Watch it. First September,
Watch it.
Disney Plus.
That's such a disorganized.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.